Joining us on Pulse of the Maggots currently right now is Nick Chance from Distinguisher. Sir, how are you doing today? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
honor.
absolutely. So we're chatting because on March 11th, you guys are going to be releasing a 6-song EP titled "Under the Weight of Things I Couldn't Change." We'll get into the meaning behind that here in a little bit, if it doesn't come up naturally. But I am very curious to start things off. So on the releases and the PRs and everything like that, you guys mentioned how when like lockdown started, it was a very easy decision for y'all to do an EP and spend time on the EP rather than like rushing straight into a full length. I was curious, Nick, what can you teach Corey and I about patience? Because neither of us have any.
Okay, so when everything initially locked down, I was up in North Alabama shooting these two bands, Weeping Wound and Second Death, who were on tour at the time. I had just gotten home from taking photos, and I woke up the next day to everything being locked down. And I live in Birmingham, Alabama, which is not close to Vegas at all. So whenever we would have to do anything, I would have to fly in, this, that, and the third, meet up with the guys. We would get together at our guitarist Josh's house, write, et cetera, et cetera. When everything shut down, the guys were only able to get together like once a week, maybe. We usually keep our Mondays open for just band days. So ritualistically, every Monday we would get together, hammer stuff out and go on from there. When everything shut down, they were getting together once a week. They were hammering out some details, some demos and everything, sending it my way. And I was just kind of forced to sit on my hands and, wait for something to get back to me. So
How tough was that? I mean, obviously, like for you personally, like were you like gnawing at the walls to try and get something done, or did you just kind of realize that there was nothing you could do about that?
initially, I wanted to like really hit the ground running. Um, I was like, okay, everything's gearing more towards, internet and online based stuff, at least for the foreseeable future. I would like to, make sure that what we're keeping up with what's going on right now, since we're having to play the hand that we're dealt.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, is like I can't force the guys to get out of the house. I didn't feel safe leaving my house either,
Right.
so it's just kind of like yeah. When you are dealt a hand, sometimes you just gotta roll with it.
Yeah, and that is a perfect segue into the lyrical content and the title of this upcoming EP, right? Because I mean that's basically the ethos of what the EP is titled, right? Like you can't do anything about certain things, you just kind of have to like adjust and roll with it. So like I guess if you could talk to us about the other than obviously sitting around like all of us not being able to do anything and just like watching this world change and having no say in anything that was going on. But as far as like the lyrical themes in this release, I mean, how were those shaped over almost 2 years now? Like March 11th really will be about 2 years since everything shut down.
Yeah, I'll pretty much a couple days shy of like everything shutting down. But lyrically, this is for me some of the like darkest and a little more like my most like personal lyrics to date. Um, Without End, the first single off the EP, kind of deals with me like running in circles in my own head a lot. I have a tendency to just get stuck on this one thought, and it just repeats and goes over and over and over. And if I don't catch myself, I'll just drive myself nuts thinking about it. So my catharsis was just writing that all down. The second single, fun fact that we have coming up, that one is kind of a little bit, uh, based on my experiences, religiously. Like, I grew up in a Catholic church and everything, and I was left more questions than answers most times. So that song is just kind of delves into that part of my childhood and stuff like that. So it kind of like branches off from all different topics that I've been kind of keeping sequestered away, that I had been kind of afraid to talk about until now.
Fuck yeah! Well, I'm glad that you are putting that on there. I mean, the song that we just heard, I imagine it's just like someone hammering your head with a cinder block while you're already on the ground. Corey, I want you to jump in and ask some questions as well.
Oh, that was actually a perfect segue into my question. With the time that you guys took on this EP, did you find yourselves, uh, vocally, musically, experimenting with new sounds and new things that you're really particularly excited about coming up on this album that you can shed a little bit of light on for the fans?
Oh, I got really weird with it. I'm not even gonna lie. I
Well, we
got
like it when
really
people
weird.
get weird over here.
This is true.
Yes. Like me and my guys, we listen like growing up. We listened to obviously like a lot of Korn, Slipknot, like Incubus, Limp Bizkit, System of a Down, all of these different bands, like Puddle of Mud. Like we drew a lot of influence from like 90s, 2000s, and like later like coming of the millennium era, like rock and new metal bands. So like we would hear the stuff that like, that really weird Marilyn Manson voice, and it's like, what can we do with that hasn't already been done? What can we do, and what can we just find ourselves being comfortable and happy with? We are like, this whole record was done pretty much in house. We recorded everything ourselves, wrote everything without any kind of outside influence. And we just kind of picked apart our biggest influences, like growing up, and kind of drew that into what we wanted this record to be.
And do you feel like that kind of freedom of doing everything in house, do you feel like it adds to the pressure, or is more, freeing of, this is all just you? So
once it came down to the final deadline that we set for ourselves, like I definitely started to feel that sense of pressure set in once we started coming up on these like hard deadlines that we set for ourselves. But being able to take a step back and realize, okay, this song might not make the cut, but this part from this one does. What can we do to like kind of meld these into one solid idea and bring it forward? And nothing felt rushed in that regard, and that was really awesome.
I was actually going to piggyback off the last question, but now it makes more sense to piggyback off this one. So talking about, having the time and everything like that to do that, I'm curious, like, other than the time aspect and having like literally like no end date or anything like that in sight for a little while, like other than time, what do you think the biggest difference was in creating this material than previous material that you've done?
The biggest difference was the amount of collaboration, because actually 3 years today was when I joined Distinguisher. When I joined, the Hell From Here, which was released in 2019, was pretty much like 60-70% of the way done and written. I kind of like touched up like 3 or 4 songs here and there, like lyrically and vocally. Other than that, I just kind of joined up with the guys, laid down all my vocals, and then we just kind of hit that ground running. For the first 3 songs that we released over 2021, Nothing Is Real, We All Suffer, and Violent Reaction, it was a little bit more collaborative. Bearden, Josh, our guitarist, he's our songwriter, he's our brain. Everything that you hear from Distinguisher comes from him. Like he has his own studio set up in Vegas, and he's just always just plugging away at it. Lyrically, I wrote all of Nothing Is Real, and then he and Jake, our drummer, bounced everything back and forth for We All Suffer, and I just kind of filled in the gaps that they were missing. Violent Reaction, the 3rd single that we released last year, was our first like actual foray into all 4 of us writing together as a unit. And taking the time since everything shut down in 2020, we wrote 20 to almost 30 songs that are just existing in the ether right now, waiting to be picked back up. So like having that time and having the ability to just send stuff back and forth as we needed to make something that we're proud of, definitely like it's really telling on this release, I think.
Yeah, and like just speaking as a fan of music, I mean, I can hear that from listening from Hell from Here to this one. Like again, I've only heard Without End from coming from the EP, but I can tell that there is that growth and that collaboration and that sound getting together that is just a next step in your guys' musical evolution, I guess. So I mean, like that shows through the time that you guys have been taking to do that.
Thank you. It just feels really good. Like these three guys and I, like they're my best friends. They're my brothers. Like I wouldn't be anywhere. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. So,
fuck yeah, Cori.
Oh my, you stole my question, actually.
It happens. It happens.
It happens all of the time. So here's one. With everything opening back up and the new album coming and shows on the horizon and whatnot, are you guys like antsy or excited or
shitting your pants to get out in front of people again?
Get out.
I'm first of all, I'm so ready to play these shows. I'm so excited. We get to hit a bunch of areas that we've played before. A lot of ones we haven't hit in a long. We're hitting Florida for the first time in like 4 years.
Nice.
Or almost like 5-6 years at this point. Good Lord. But I'm nervous and very excited. Like we're gonna be as obviously as safe as we can possibly be with everything going on right now. We're gonna be hammering everything out in the weeks coming off of this tour that I'm currently on and our tour. We're just, once I leave this Fit for an Autopsy tour, I'm flying into Vegas. We're gonna be, it's crunch time. So everything is going to be ironed out to a T.
What are you most looking forward to with this tour?
For me personally, we're playing Birmingham for the first time in Distinguishes history, and that's my hometown, in a venue that I've been playing shows at since I've been going to shows at since I was like 14, 15 years old. So it's like a full circle moment, and it just feels really cool.
That is a really cool moment.
I'm also excited for our Vegas show and playing headlining Chain Reaction for the first time in Anaheim on this tour. That's so awesome. Like I remember being a teenager sitting in my room watching live videos of all these bands that I love, and they'd be like so and so live at Chain Reaction. I'm like, this is so sick. I want to do that. And now like it's here, so it's cool. It's awesome.
For those of you out there in the chat right now, I have it written down, and you can correct me if I have the information wrong, Nick, but I believe the tour starts on March 10th in Walla Walla, Washington, and runs all the way through April 16th in Thornton, Colorado, where you can catch Distinguisher in these fine United States.
You're right on the money.
Fuck yeah. So I have one more question, Cori, before I'll turn things over to you. And this is, no right answer on this one, Nick. I mean, more philosophical question than an actual question. But, like, what do you think was the, like, main lessons or takeaways from this cycle that you've done, whether you've learned something about the way that you work or your bandmates work or how all of this, like, machine that we're part of works? Like, what do you think was the main takeaway from this period of time in your life? And getting this new music out to people?
Don't be afraid to bend and be a little bit flexible if you have to. Like change, like this whole EP is about change and how nothing is certain and everything will just keep changing and keep changing. So you have to run with it. But if you have a good idea, if you have something that with everything that is the right path, spearhead it. Just run with it.
I was letting the time breathe with it because I think that is fantastic advice. So I got nothing else to say, Cori.
Well, I got one final question, and it is the most important question of the entire interview, the one that separates the boys from the men. What is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh my God. Okay.
I love it when all the people already have like stories ready to go when this comes up.
No, it is the Pachycephalosaurus, because
That's
I watched
the hard head, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I saw him cave in the side of that truck door in Jurassic Park 2, and I was like, this thing is so cool. This thing is so sick. And
That's
from
exactly the
that
scene
day,
that I was thinking of, where it just rams into the side of the truck.
yeah, he's like, yeah, and like over here, like we got to be careful about this one, and then you just see him like ram that dude through that truck door.
Yeah, the
It was
bone
insane.
on their head, for people who don't know, is like 6 inches thick. The very top of their head is just massive, thick bone that they rammed into everything.
Yeah, their like neck like locks in place, and it's just like a battering ram.
May I share an anecdote that is actually related to this in a conversation I was having yesterday?
Nice.
I was just over here while I was listening to music earlier, late yesterday evening, and I was playing with my dogs. Nick, I have a 60-pound boxer lab mix, and then my girlfriend added a corgi about 2 months ago. She's about a year or so, right? Really rambunctious, really full of energy. I was playing with Buster, my dog, and like tugging on him, and the corgi came from the other side of the room over here and just ran and headbutted me right here in the cheekbone, to where I like physically like moved like that, and like she like went through, like didn't even stop, just kept going all the way through, and I literally
when they get some speed, you better watch out.
I'm saying, dude, I literally said to my girlfriend, I was like, it was like that fucking dinosaur at the beginning of Lost World, Jurassic Park. This is exactly what it was.
You better watch out, they'll take you down.
Dude,
That's
I'm telling you.
the corgi evolved from, science facts that are not verified.
I can believe it. Although I think that there is also part gremlin in my corgi as well, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, they're devious little guys.
Oh, so bad.
Yep.
Nick, before we let you go, is there anything else, anything that you want the listeners either in the chat that haven't heard you before, or the ones that are really stoked about this release? What do you want the listeners to take away from this music that you guys are releasing on March 11th?
Hope you like it. I put everything of myself that I've been, kind of hiding away for like the last 2-3 years into this. It's something that me and the rest of my boys really believe in. So if you latch onto it, I can't thank you enough. Like, this means the world to me, and I hope it means something to everybody else out there.
100%. Hell yeah, everybody. Under the Weight of Things I Couldn't Change by Distinguisher comes out on March 11th. Nick Chance, thank you so much for joining us on Pulse of the Maggots today, my friend.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats on the release. And good luck on tour, man. Be safe.